It appears as though Israel has agreed to a hostage deal with Hamas, a hostage ceasefire deal, and I wanted to break it down and basically what it means for the region and how people are reacting to it. Donald J. Trump says, "We have a deal for the hostages in the Middle East. They will be released shortly. Thank you." So he is taking credit for this deal. He wrote a long tweet on Truth Social earlier today. He said, "The epic ceasefire agreement could have only happened as a result of our historic victory in November, as it signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. I am thrilled. American and Israeli hostages will be returning home to be reunited with their families and their loved ones. With this deal in place, my national security team, through the efforts of Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, will continue to work closely with Israel and our allies to make sure Gaza never again becomes a terrorist safe haven. We will continue promoting peace through strength throughout the region as we build upon the momentum of this ceasefire to further expand the historic Abraham Accords. This is only the beginning of great things to come for America and indeed the world. We've achieved so much without even being in the White House. Just imagine all the wonderful things that will happen when I return to the White House and my administration is fully confirmed, so they can secure more victories for the United States." So Donald J. Trump is essentially taking credit for the deal. Yal Jacoby writes, "If these two little children are turned into body bags, Israel must launch an unprecedented blow against Hamas. If there's even a hair missing on their heads, Israel must go after every last terrorist that was involved." He's referring to the Bebas babies, the only two babies in Hamas captivity. So the details of the deal seem to be that it's going to be about 1,300 terrorists. That's 1,300 terrorists for 33 hostages. That's stage one. Although I'm not exactly how it's going to be breaking down. The actual vote on the deal in the Knesset is set to happen tomorrow at around, I believe, 11. And there's still some question marks there. Tom Cotton writes, "Why is lame duck Joe Biden trying to cram down a bad deal on Israel on his way out the door? The only deal should be unconditional surrender by Hamas, which is already nearly destroyed, and return of all hostages. Indeed, we hear reports that Biden is demanding that Israel withdraw from key terrain in Gaza, release dozens of hardened terrorists for every one hostage, get back only some hostages. Here's the deal to offer Hamas and its patron Iran. You have 5 days to release all the hostages, or we unleash hell." Again, the details of the deal are not 100% confirmed, but it seems that it's going to be around 1,300 terrorists for 33 hostages at first, and then eventually, I believe, most of the hostages. Dr. Ellie David writes, "Breaking under heavy U.S. pressure, Israel has agreed to release 1,300 terrorists, cease fighting Hamas, and leave most of Gaza in return for the release of only 33 hostages out of 98, of which only 23 are alive and 10 are dead." I'm assuming that that's only stage one, and there's 2 other stages to the deal. Again, this is not really a great deal at all. So anyone that's touting this as a good deal for Israel or America is either misinforming you deliberately or just doesn't know. What's very interesting is to see how Palestinians react to this deal. And they are shouting, "We are Mohammed Def. We are terrorists. We are, basically saying that they won, that somehow they won this war, and they're proud that they got this deal." Check it out. They are shouting, "We are the men of Mohammed Def." Mohammed Def is a terrorist that was killed by Israel earlier in this war. So they're celebrating in Gaza right now. And it's pretty crazy when you get destroyed so badly, and yet despite that, you count this as a win, that you still see yourselves as the victor. That's how Palestinians do it. They lose, they cry victim, and they say, "Oh, ceasefire. Oh, actually, we did win." Actually, we won. And actually, we did really well. Both Biden and Donald J. Trump are claiming credit for the deal, but it seems that it was Trump because it was his envoy, Steve Witkoff, who arranged the deal. So Palestinians are celebrating. Israelis are mixed. I think the hostage families are obviously relieved. A lot of the relatives of the hostages are relieved. A lot of the people in Israel are relieved because, they wanted this over a long time ago, and there's major controversy in Israel over this, but the Israeli right is not so happy. Now, what I really think happened, and this is my own opinion, I think that there must have been something behind the scenes that Bibi was offered, that Netanyahu was basically told by Trump or someone else, we'll do this deal, let us do this deal, and we'll make sure that A, Gaza will not become a hostage, a terrorist haven once again, and B, we will give you some sort of sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. Because it seems that that's what Netanyahu is telling Israeli ministers, Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir, saying, if you do this deal, we'll give you the right to basically build more in Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank. So again, this hostage deal might be terrible, but at the same time, I think that there's more than meets the eye. I think that Trump must have offered Netanyahu something great because otherwise he would have never accepted this. Basically, it's too bad to be true, is what I'm trying to say. That there is no chance that Israel would take this deal if there was nothing else. Marina Medvin writes, Trump is leaving 65 hostages behind. Why is he bragging? She has a point, but I do think that there has to be something else. Otherwise, there wouldn't be, there wouldn't be such a deal made. That Netanyahu would never make such a deal, unless I'm totally wrong about Netanyahu and he's a total scumbag. Neo Berg writes, no, Trump, you forced Israel into a terrible deal for 33 hostages, several of whom are dead. The majority will remain kept inside Gaza, their fate up in the air. You did this in order to claim a win on the 20th and with no other considerations taken. Extremely disappointing. She's an Iranian activist, and she understands jihadism more than almost anyone else. Cassia Kiva writes, just want to make this clear. This hostage deal only has 33 hostages returning before January 20th, which Trump gave as a deadline. There are 98 hostages in Gaza. And supposedly only 3 will return on the 20th. It's a very sort of complicated deal. So a few hostages are coming, and then they're deciding, oh, wait, no, we're only giving you this amount in the first stage, and there's still a lot of things to be decided. Again, this hostage deal has not been fully confirmed in the Knesset. There's still a vote, I believe, tomorrow. It seems that it will get fully, sort of approved, but who knows? Maybe, perhaps, Israel will decline. There have been talks in the past that have sort of dissolved. We'll have to see. But again, if they're celebrating, we probably shouldn't be. And my take on this deal is that it is not a good deal. And the only way it could be a good deal is if there's something else behind the scenes that we are not seeing. We'll keep you updated at Jewish Uncensored. Subscribe below, and hopefully we'll bring you more updates on this with better news soon. Thank you, and have a good one.